What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Finance Miracle here, and today we got another top 5 coming out. Today's top 5 is going to be the top 5 Pokemon villains. Now, I'm not specifically dedicating this one to the anime or the manga or the video games. This one's just going to be a compilation of the villains that I found were, most intriguing to me. In my opinion, the best villains that, I just remembered, or at least the ones that stuck out to me. So, let's start kicking things off with number 5. We got the Iron Mask Marauder. So kicking off, we have a man that kicks Celebi in the butt. Now this man has a weird spot on this list because it's not really himself, but more of what he kind of introduced. See, when he was in the Celebi movie, he had these things called Dark Balls, and those Dark Balls would capture a Pokemon, make them super strong, and make them dark, quote unquote. But it's not really the type. It's more of the fact that, it makes them turn evil, That alone made Pokemon so interesting to me, especially when, around that time I was still collecting Pokemon cards, and dark Pokemon cards were coming out. And again, not the type, just the fact that they were labeled as dark Pokemon. And that was just I don't know, it gave Pokemon a new essence, something we haven't really seen before. But I'm not talking like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or nothing. And they even continued something along the lines of that with Shadow Pokemon. Pokemon that again were in this dark aura, they were evil. They would even go so far as to attack Pokemon in Coliseum. But, digression aside, it was mostly the stuff that he brought that, I can't remember how much time I spent as a child looking for a Dark Ball in the first, or in the second generation Pokemon, just because I wanted something like that. I didn't want to be an evil Pokemon trainer, but, regardless, it's this Pokeball that, really made him stand out. And, even as a villain, he even manages to get a Celebi. Now, if that alone isn't worth number 5, I don't know what is. Coming in at number 4. Alright, so, now, if you're watching this, you probably like Pokemon. But if not, hey, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Regardless, you probably collect something, right? I mean, if that something is Pokemon, then consider this. You, yourself, might be a villain. You battle, yeah, but I mean, you only have 6 Pokemon, and you probably have, tens of 30, boxes of Pokemon. But some are probably just, to have, right? Yeah? Same with this Lawrence III. If you remember him from The Power of One, the movie with Lugia and the 3 legendary birds, his greed, just gets so anxious, so powerful. He literally just wants to collect the 3 birds to get some kind of trophy out of it. And that trophy is to awaken the beast, Lugia. He wanted to capture these Pokemon for his own benefit, which is still kind of unclear. He just wants them as a collector. But he's going so far as to capture these Pokemon, even though he knows that Lugia could flood the world. He could just end life, but all he wants is to finish his collection. No matter how much of a bad guy he was, you really can't deny that he's a part of us. He kind of represents our greed and our willing to get all these Pokemon, even though we might not all use them, and some of them might just be trophies. If you haven't played Pokemon Red Rescue Team or Blue Rescue Team, then that's something I cannot recommend enough to you guys. Personally, they aren't my favorite mystery dungeon games. Now let me give you a rundown with as little spoilers as I can for a really old Game Boy Advance game. But essentially, you are a human that becomes a Pokemon. Plot twist. You are unsure of why you're a human, or why you've been turned into a Pokemon. Adventure, intro to Gengar. A greedy Pokemon that notices that you're a human, and this whole time there are natural disasters going on. So Gengar ends up putting 2 to 2 together and makes you seem to be the natural upset of whatever's going on in this Pokemon world, the earthquakes and the floods and everything. And he even convinces an entire village that you're the reason this is happening. And he does it without even considering the possibilities. And he literally gets some of the top tier threats in the game, some teams that are considered to be gods amongst other Pokemon, to come down and hunt you down. And, eventually you find out some extra details about Gengar that I don't really want to spoil, because, again, I just cannot recommend this game enough. And, he ends up making you go through like a frozen tundra, you know, terrible terrain, a volcano that's like about to erupt, and like a frozen forest. And just for what he is, you know, and what he did in his past life, it's just unjustified. Gengar's number 3 this week. Alright, kicking off number 2, we get Team Plasma. Now, I'm not talking about any specific individual. I'm talking about Team Plasma as a whole. Like, the grunts to the head honcho to N. Like, it's all there. Because Team Plasma was from a gen that, like, people didn't really like for some reason. But I think it was kind of overlooked. People kind of thought, Black 2, White 2, okay, I played it, I'm done with it. Oh, Black 2, White 2. It's the same thing. There's not going to be anything added. But really, Black and White kind of set up a good intro to an amazing sequel. And I think people haven't played enough of White 2 and Black 2 to understand where they, you know, how this team actually functions. You know, a team that first comes off as like a space hippie version of PETA, like, you kind of eventually find out what their motives are mid to late game, you know, just like every other villains. But this is kind of what makes them different. Like Team Rocket, for example, they already know what they want, you know, they just want Pokemon. You know, Team Galactic, they want a new world, but they were really dumb about it. You know, every other team has their things. Team Flare, you know, they were all scattered, and it was really just Lysandra that wanted something to end the world. But all that Team Plasma wanted to do is make you question something. Like, what's more important to a person? Is it the truths or ideals? And that's kind of what like the yin yang and everything is kind of based off of. But like the game literally gets you thinking so much, and there's a point where you actually almost get killed, which I really didn't see any way out of it when I was first playing the game. It was so intense, and I was actually legitimately scared what's gonna happen to me in this Pokemon game. Like, the villains themselves end up having some family issues, which I'm not going to get into, because, again, this is just another game that I do recommend that you all play if you have not already. But the sequel is definitely where Team Plasma makes their stutters. I mean, it's definitely where they make themselves notice, because the first installments were just kind of meh. I can agree with that wholeheartedly. But, again, try Black 2, White 2. Can't recommend it enough. Alright, down to my number 1 pick. Okay, you might think that he's not a villain, he might be more of an anti-hero, or better yet, a rival. But let me explain why he's on this list. Primarily for the villain reasons. He did steal a Pokemon, okay, that's canon no matter what. He broke into Professor Elm's lab and just snatched up whatever starter was good against yours. And, like, the police end up coming for him, you know, asking for information. That's how you name him. But something so bad about him, which, again, might not seem like such a bad deal now. But, you know, again, I played this game growing up. This is my first... Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is my favorite generation of Pokemon. Second gen, I can play over and over again, never get bored. But, so, he ends up stealing the Pokemon. And all he goes on about for the most of the game is how he hates weak Pokemon. He cannot stand a weak Pokemon and only wants a strong. But even as a kid, I always thought, wow, why do you have a Zubat? You know? And like initially, like we didn't even know anything about him. He was just that jerk that hated us and, you know, would just steal Pokemon. But he also hates Team Rocket. And our motives for that aren't even like revealed, not even close. And we don't find out until 2010. Well, we got like a little event in Heart Gold and Soul Silver in the remix, and that kind of explained why Silver, you know, ends up hating Team Rocket. Again, he's the son of Giovanni, and you know the speculation on who the mother is. I'll let you guys discuss that in the comments if you want to. But you know, perhaps he might be an anti-villain. But there is no denying that he's full of anger and doesn't mind taking it out on you, even physically when he kicks you. But by the end of the day, even though he starts off hating, he eventually does learn to love in the form of a Crobat. Alright guys, so that's my top 5 Pokemon list of this week. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave your own top 5 in the comments, because honestly, I didn't even say that for the top 5 favorite Pokemon, but you guys, or some guys started posting them, and you know, I kind of wish I asked for more guys to go ahead and put that in the bottom, because I really wanted to see it. It just slipped my mind. So if you guys have top 5 favorite villains, feel free to go ahead and let me know what you guys thought. And we'll catch you on the next one.